Now, I am pleased to introduce Ms. Ki Jo Lee, a member of the Douglas College class of 2009, to deliver the undergraduate address. Ms. Lee was selected from a group of talented students to represent all Rutgers undergraduates. She's been chosen on the basis of her academic achievements, leadership abilities, and the recommendations of her faculty mentors. Ms. Lee will receive a Bachelor of Arts degree in Art History at the Douglas College Convocation tomorrow. Please welcome Ms. Ki Jo Lee.
Good afternoon, members of the Board of Governors, President McCormick, Vice President Formansky, deans, faculty, staff, the students of the class of 2009, their families, and friends. When I was asked to speak to you about my experience at Rutgers, I thought, well, that'll be easy. But when I was told that I had to do so in 5 minutes, well, as you can imagine, the panic set in. How could I possibly tell you how my experience at Rutgers has transformed me as a person and a scholar in a mere 5 minutes? So as I've been taught in many seminars, I decided to focus on the big picture. And as I began to think about the great changes in my life that have happened here, the right words began to flow. I grew up in a very strict household. My mom raised my sister and me on her own, and the only way to keep our household running smoothly was to ensure that we were all where we were supposed to be, when we were supposed to be there, and looking darn cute when we arrived. Everything was scheduled. We cleaned our rooms on Thursday, the kitchen and bathroom on Friday, and on Saturday, before cartoons, mind you, we did the laundry. Complaining was a no-no, and deviations from the schedule were definitely frowned upon by management. Now, this is not to say that we didn't have a good time. It almost never felt like work because our days were equally filled with laughter. But here's the thing. I knew what the exact contour of every day would be before I lived it. It was that way through elementary school, through junior high, and through high school. After high school, I took a major detour, and instead of college, I went to work. Now, did I unleash my inner rebel? Sadly, no. Instead, I allowed my employers, one after another, to establish the contours of my day. My favorite escape was going to museums and galleries in my free time. Although I couldn't afford to travel, I felt that when I entered a museum, I was given a passport to every part of the world and a window into every era of history. But it was only a hobby. Though I was unfulfilled in my work life, it had never occurred to me that things could be different. I say all of this to acknowledge two things. First, that's no way to live. And second, things are so very different now. From the moment I set foot on Douglas campus, I felt different. I could select absolutely anything to study. And because of my experiences at museums, I decided to study the history of art. I was blown away in my first introductory art history class, and when we looked at cave paintings created in 30,000 BC, I realized that art wasn't just something pretty or interesting to look at, but rather a tool that can be used to understand the past, present, and future of our world. Then I spent the summer before sophomore year in Italy, traveling to 8 cities in 6 weeks to study Renaissance art. As so many of the paintings, sculptures, and sites that I fell in love with in my textbooks materialized, my decision to pursue history of art as a major became concrete. For me, junior year was the most challenging and the most transformative. That fall, I began working on my honors thesis with the brilliant Dr. Archer St. Clair Harvey. She also taught a course in cultural heritage preservation, in which we explored the importance of cultural artifacts and the implications for indigenous peoples who are deprived of ancestral objects. Inspired by a new understanding of what art means to the identity of a people, in my thesis, I examined the cultural disparities inherent in the debate between museums, archaeologists, collectors, and indigenous cultures over the ownership of antiquities. The next spring, I took a course entitled Race and Representation, America in Black and White, with the also brilliant and meticulous Dr. Tanya Sheehan. This course galvanized the connections I'd made between art objects and identity politics a semester earlier and set me on the road to my future area of study, contemporary African American art. Dr. Sheehan asked us to explore representations of race in American visual culture. Coupled with the research I was doing for my thesis, this course broadened my capacity to synthesize what is visible in a work of art with its greater socio-historical implications. I was encouraged to step outside the boundaries of existing scholarship and combine historical research with theory. And both Dr. Harvey and Dr. Sheehan pushed me intellectually beyond where I thought I could go. Their constant encouragement, along with that of the many other fantastic professors I've had the privilege of working with, were a great influence on my decision to pursue a career in academia and to make the leap from student to scholar. My journey at Rutgers has taken me from New Brunswick, New Jersey, to Urbino, Italy, to London, England, and soon to New Haven, Connecticut to pursue a doctorate in history of art and African American studies at Yale. It has introduced me to topics from jurisprudence, to philosophy of religion, to literary theory. And I've discovered that there is nothing more invigorating than investigating seemingly disparate things and locating some commonality where none was apparent. Thanks to Mom, I still have the discipline I learned as a child. I'm still where I'm supposed to be, when I'm supposed to be there, and boy am I ever still cute when I arrive. But entering college signaled the end of my 9-to-5 lifestyle and the end of days that look and feel the same. I couldn't be more terrified, but I also couldn't be more thrilled. The study of art is no longer an escape from what I do every day, but rather it is what I do every day. At Rutgers, I have learned that I am a being of infinite possibilities, and my future has blossomed in ways that I'd never imagined it could. I am just beginning the process that many of you as graduate students are completing with this ceremony. And I hope you know that each of you, in your attainment of an advanced degree, is a living model and inspiration for people like me, and for that I offer you my deepest thanks and my warmest congratulations on your achievements. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Ki Jo Lee.